And joining me now is Democratic presidential candidate, Senator Amy Klobuchar of Minnesota. Senator Klobuchar, welcome back to Meet the Press.
Thank you, Chuck. It's wonderful to be on.
All right, the collision of impeachment, the campaign is all now upon us. In 63 days, I think we'll be caucusing. You might be there taking a break from the Senate trial. What role does public opinion play in all this for you? I mean, we're at a stalemate. No matter what you think of the facts, we're at a public opinion stalemate here. What role should that play in this?
The first obligation is a constitutional one. We don't have a choice. This is something where the founding fathers themselves, James Madison, said that the reason we needed impeachment provisions is that he feared that a president would betray the trust of the American people to a foreign power. That's why this is proceeding. I see it simply as a global Watergate. Back then, you had a president in Richard Nixon who was paranoid, and he delegated to some people to go break into the headquarters and get into a file cabinet to get dirt on a political opponent. That's basically what this president has done on a global basis. Yes, it's a public trial, and the public will be able to see more and will be able to reach their own decisions. But in the end, it's our constitutional obligation, and I can do two things at once.
Let me, I want to show you a quote from a member of Congress from Michigan who said this. Brenda Lawrence, Democrat, said this. "We are so close to an election, I will tell you, sitting here knowing how divided the country is, I don't see the value of taking him out of office. But I do see the value of putting down a marker saying his behavior is not acceptable." That is one way to look at this public opinion, that you see people sort of, the people that are actually listening and everything are torn on the election as opposed to this, are split in this. You got a Democratic member in your own state, Colin Peterson, who didn't even vote to go through this procedure. He's from a Trump district. Is that what you hear?
Let me talk about how I see this. Yes, this is a legal impeachment proceeding, and it could result in him being thrown out of office. That is true. But I see this as part of a bigger pattern, and the pattern is this. He betrays the trust of the American people. He puts his private interests, he puts his business interests, he puts his partisan political interests in front of our country's. That's what people get. That's why you see, for instance, the fact that he went out there and rallied for the opponents, Republicans in Louisiana and Kentucky, and the Democrats won. We have a new Democratic governor in Kentucky, and that is because the people said, you know what? He's betrayed us on health care. We haven't been able to get the health care that we want.
Do you fear, though, what he could do, how he would interpret a Senate acquittal?
I have no idea what he will do. All I know is that we have an obligation to the country to lead, to have this proceeding be conducted fairly, which I believe it has. It was all in public in the last week. People got to see people like Lieutenant Colonel Vindeman, who made the American point to his dad, hey, this is a country where you can tell the truth. I think the importance is that it's fair and that we get a result.
The Republicans have poured millions of dollars into these swing districts trying with an anti-impeachment message. Democrats have not countered. And I understand why they haven't, right? They don't want to look like they're politicizing this process. And yet, what's happening? It's an asymmetrical warfare, and you're losing the political argument in public opinion. Should there, hindsight's 2020, Democrats making a mistake not sticking up with paid media for these, particularly the swing state Democrats?
I think it's way too early to tell that, Chuck. We have got a whole election season in front of us, and my evidence is what just happened, where we took back the Virginia State House and State Senate right in the middle of all of this, because the voters were looking at that. Yes, this is a patriotism check. This is a values check. There are people that don't even want to watch the president on TV anymore. They have to turn the volume down on their TV. And it is also an economic check. So when I went on that blue wall tour to places like Michigan and Pennsylvania and to Wisconsin and talked to citizens who had maybe voted for him before, they said, enough. He hasn't come through for us. Our prescription drug costs are skyrocketing. What has he done? He's just whining on TV all the time.
Let me talk about your race. It seems as if right now everybody is focused on everybody's flaws. All the reasons why none of you can unite the Democratic Party, why none of you can do this, and you've got this problem, and this candidate's got that problem. It's only a focus on the warts. Is this damaging long term?
We will come together. You know, we are not like the Republican Party where they say, he says jump, and they say how high, and no one says the emperor has no clothes. Our party is going to have a debate about issues. But I am the candidate from the very beginning that said we have to cross the river of our divides when I announced on that river in the middle of that blizzard. I'm the candidate that said I don't want to be the president for half of America, but all of America. And I have set a very clear path that we will have divides, but I am where the people are. And that means that I have big, bold ideas. No one has a monopoly on good ideas, but I am the one that will unite this party.
What's the criticism of your campaign so far that's resonated the most with you, that you think, you know what, that's fair, I'm trying to change?
Well, I think it would always be nice to get in more money, and we have. You know, they're always saying, oh, you haven't raised as much money as some of these other guys. Well, I'm not as well known. Since those last debates, we've taken over $2 million in at one instance online from regular people in 6 days. So we are expanding. We're opening more offices in Iowa. We're opening more offices and adding staff in New Hampshire and in the other early states. And that's because the momentum's on our side. And I'm never going to be able to compete with two billionaires. That is true. I'm not going to be able to buy this $30-some million ad buy.
You seem particularly insulted by Bloomberg's entry. No, I mean, and I understand of other, but look, this is your space. You're saying, hey, I'm the compromise. I'm the one that if Biden falters, and all of a sudden, hey, you're getting into my space. That's what you sounded like.
Well, it is more about money and politics for me. I have admiration for the work that he's done. But I don't buy this argument that you get in because you say, oh, everyone else sucks. I just don't. I think we have strong candidates. I don't think that any of the polling or the numbers show that people are dissatisfied with all their candidates. They're just trying to pick the right one. So my case is to make that it's me. I'm the one from the beginning that has set that path, that you look people in the eyes, you tell them the truth, that no, we're not going to give free college to everyone, but we're going to match our economy with the jobs and the education system that we have. I'm the one that is the only one on the stage that didn't get on that bill for kicking people off their current health insurance in 4 years.
Michael Bloomberg, if he doesn't qualify if you don't ever get to debate him, but he ends up winning a nomination.
That can't happen. I mean,
he's
got to debate people, and he also has to get out there. You know, I didn't see him out there in the middle of that snowstorm 3 days ago in Iowa. I was out there, and people turned out. People turned out in big numbers wherever we went. And that's why we have early states, so that people are able to meet the candidates and they're able to make a good decision. It cannot be all about money, or rich people would be running and winning in every Senate race in the country. That's not what happens.
Back quickly to impeachment. Any chance you would vote to acquit?
I can't see that happening right now, but I am someone that looks at each count and makes a decision. I've said from the beginning, I see this as impeachable conduct.
Senator Amy Klobuchar, Democrat from Minnesota. Sorry about the University of Minnesota yesterday, but it's been a great season.
Okay, that is true.
It's been a good season.
Rose Ball was in our reach.
It's been a good season. Still a heck of a season.
Yes.
Row the boat.
Okay,
Thanks for being on. See you safe on the trail. Hello from Washington, I'm Chuck Todd, and thanks for checking out the Meet the Press channel on YouTube. Click on the button down here to subscribe, and click over here to watch the latest interviews, highlights, and other digital exclusives.